Change these settings in Arc Raiders to get an advantage over other players right now. Firstly, head over to your audio settings and go to where it says night mode. Switch this on because what this does is it compresses the game's audio, bringing the louder sounds down in volume whilst bringing the quieter sounds up in volume. I use this personally to hear player footsteps and movement more clearly. Head over to the graphics tab and copy these settings for the best FPS. So I have NVIDIA DLSS frame generation disabled. If you have a really bad computer, you may want to consider turning this on if you do have a NVIDIA card that actually supports this. But the issue with it is it adds input delay to your game, which I don't like from a competitive standpoint, so that's why I have it disabled. I also disable VSync, and I also turn on NVIDIA Reflex Low Latency. I also put unlimited on my frame rate limit, and then I'll scroll down a little bit, and you want to make sure that if you have a NVIDIA card, put the resolution scaling method on NVIDIA DLSS, and then under this setting you want to make sure you put it on quality. A lot of people are rocking auto, but quality ensures the absolute best clarity. And then underneath that, make sure that this is set to transformer. Scroll down a little bit more and make sure your field of view is set to 80. I'm going to show you what 60 looks like, and as you can see, it's so zoomed in and I can barely see what's left or right of me. So I'm going to make sure to put that all the way up to 80 so I can see more of the map. Scrolling down a little bit more, we want to make sure that we put the global illuminations down to static, and then we want to make sure that the view distance is on epic. For obvious reasons, we want to make sure we can see those enemies. I'm going to put the anti-aliasing down to low, the shadows on epic, which I'll explain later, post-processing on low, textures on epic. This is a personal preference of mine because I have a system that gets enough FPS. I just want the textures to look really nice, but you can put this on low if you're struggling for frames. Effects on low, reflections on low, foliage on low for obvious reasons, less bushes, less places for people to hide, easier to see. And then global illumination resolution, pop this on low as well. And you might be thinking, Lewis, why have you told me to put shadows on epic? That makes no damn sense. Well, as you can see over there in the distance, there is a little cubby with a turret inside of it. It's very dark and it's full of shadows. If I now go to my settings and make sure that I turn my shadows to ultra, look at the difference. It completely lights up the room. I'm going to toggle it on and off for you there. And as you can see, I'm toggling between low and epic, and the difference is night and day. So that's why I advise to keep it on epic, because you can see directly into these shaded rooms and you can actually see people in those corners. And for all you controller players, I recommend turning on prioritize reload. To turn this on, just go to your settings, go to the controller tab, and then make sure here where it says interact/reload behavior, make sure this is set to prioritize reload. What this is going to do is it's going to make sure that your reload is priority over looting containers. This is a little bit of a hidden gem because imagine this, you're near a container, you're fighting an enemy. Reload. Oops, I've accidentally searched an item box. Next thing you know, you're dead. As far as crosshair settings go, this is what I recommend for the highest clarity, but obviously this is personal preference, so I understand if you don't want to use these settings. Come over here to the accessibility tab and then copy the settings you see on screen now. I make sure to have the move crosshair when line of fire blocked on, and I also make sure to have override crosshair shape on as well. As far as the shape goes, I'm a big fan of the circle, and then make sure that you have the weapon crosshair center dot on, otherwise you won't see this central dot. And then obviously these are my settings right here if you want to copy them. I've tried a few different variations of crosshairs, but I always find myself coming back to this one due to how visible it is on all map conditions and weather types. But if this is not quite your taste, I will put some other configurations on screen for you right now. These are some crosshair settings from other big streamers, content creators, and even pro gamers. But that's all as far as the settings go. Please help me in the YouTube algorithm by liking this video and possibly subscribing if you're feeling extra crazy, because I'm only a small YouTuber and I'm looking to grow. I hope to see you on some of my other Arc Raiders videos, but until next time, bye bye.